Hello, everyone. Say hello to Breezer and myself. When you pop on, there will be just two of you guys tonight. So, Barbara and Donna. And hopefully, I've got everything I need here. Quickly scrambling last minute here to get everything prepared. It was more so clean my desk. Yikes. So hopefully you are on the site. Let me check and see. Maybe I'll message you. No, I will send a message to you from the group. There we go. There's one. And Barb. Hopefully this helps. I'll just wait a couple more minutes and then I will start. And you can always jump in or I can send you the link to the Facebook. Maybe I should put on. There's Barbara. Oh, it says private user. Interesting. Maybe I'll put the microphone on so I can make sure that the sound is good for Donna when I guess I'll give her the link. Hopefully she is able to find us. Well, we can get started. Okay. All right. Just finished wolfing down the supper. Now we're ready to roll. We get to create. So, card one. Here we go. It is this one. So I tried to think outside of the box a little bit with color combos. I think it's kind of fun. Hopefully you kind of like it. And of course, if you don't like something, switch it up. If you want to say this way, switch it up. Go for it. Not going to hurt my feelings. Just make it your own, make it for what you need it to be. So if you want to get out your card number 1 envelope, did you take a sneak peek already? Or did you leave it all for a surprise today? Okay, so I'm not sure what colors you have there, Barbara. But majority of the colors I'm going to use today is soft suede and balmy blue. If those aren't your colors that you have, it's okay. We can use just basic black would work fine. And we can jazz up things with pencil crayons or markers or whatever you want to use. So, can you hear me, Barbara? Just want to make sure that that microphone didn't mess things up. I had to peek, of course. That would have been me too, yes. All right, so the big piece of white paper, maybe just set that aside with your envelope just so it doesn't get dirty or, you know, get the ink pad in it or whatever. And we'll get all the other supplies out. I think we're going to start with this basket weave. Do you have daubers? If you do, I'm going to be using a dauber to kind of make it look a little more rustic or used, I guess. So I just have my dauber. If you don't, you might have a sponge or a makeup sponge even. Maybe even a Kleenex if you don't. I think a Kleenex might work. If not, you don't have to do this part at all if you don't want to. But all I'm going to do is just kind of around the outside, just kind of random. Give it some antiquing. Kind of dirty it up a little bit. Yes, you do. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so there's my kind of messing it up. So if you want to, you know, go in the center a little bit, and so it's not this big random bright part, that works too. Actually, while we have that open, we're also going to need our dauber, if you'd like, for our fish. And so I decided to use, let's see, this, what is this, soft suede on the top of the fish. So the one with the big fin, I'm just going to pull kind of the ink down to kind of color up the top of the fish. So there's 3. You can get lots of practice doing this. So you aren't going to be getting any crazy weather, are you? We're forecast to get snow tonight. So I think we're going to be going outside and bringing in the flower pots. Not fun. Okay. So I will wait until you tell me that you are caught up to me. Tell me that you're good to go to the next step if you are done this stage. just while you're working away. I think Kevin tonight is making some kind of potato, bacon, cheese soup, but instead of the potato, he's using radish and cauliflower. So I guess that's going to be your tomatoes in your living room. Oh, okay, you're ready. Yeah, so should be interesting for lunch tomorrow. I now have Mary Merlot, and I have my little sponge dauber here. So on the opposite side of the fish, I added a little bit of red on its belly. Not sure if there's a fish that actually looks like this or not, but I just thought, you know, let's add a little red color. I suppose this is probably your supper time. 6 o'clock, it's early for you and late for some, and there we go. So there's their bellies, and if you can put away the Mary Merlot. Won't be needing that one anymore. Let me know if you're done the little fishies. Oh, you're on the border. Oh, I didn't know that. So north or south? Like, are you that far from me? I know Golden's what, about an hour-ish, I think. All right, so now we have this little piece that is notched, which means for me, it means that it's going to be kind of our little scrap piece of paper that we're going to be cutting things out of. So it's not going to be going onto the card as this piece. It's a scrap piece. So let's get out our little basket stamp with the soft suede, and we'll stamp it onto our little scrap here. Like so. And then we are going to use our Balmy Blue to stamp the hat. So somewhere else on this sheet. Like so. Now, ready. I'm right in the southern interior. I will have to look that up. Maybe we're close by and we could go for a visit. While we have this Balmy Blue open, let's do our sentiment on that little stitched circle. So it's your day, or whatever you'd like to put there. There we go. Then we can put away our blue. Now, if you have a blender pen, if not, you can use an aqua painter. If not, you can just leave it. Now, what I'm going to do is actually take my blender pen, and over top of the basket section, I'm just going to run it along there. and it kind of fills it in a little. It just moves some of the ink around, and it will just make it look a little more brown, I suppose. Hopefully you can see a difference there. See how I did that? Ooh, are we breaking up? So hopefully you can see how the color kind of just moved around there with the blender pen. Then for the hat, if you get your, where'd I put it? Soft suede, I just used my blender pen to put a little line across the hat in brown. I figured just to break up some of that blue. Okay. Let me know if you're caught up to this stage. I suppose if you didn't have the blender pen, you could always just go over top with a brown pencil crayon. That would work. Or just a brown marker even in the hat. You're ready. All right. I can't remember if you have the dies or not. If you do, feel free to cut out the hat and the basket. There are dies for that. My Big Shot is on the floor at the moment, and I have my binder all over, so I'm just gonna cut it out. do it the quick way. Make those little bumps on the bottom of the basket a little bit wavy. Then after we're done that, we are ready to assemble. Let me know when you've got those cut out. I'm going to look up Sparwood while you're working away. know. So do you ever go to the States to go shopping or anything? Or I don't know how far away that would be. Where we lived in Manitoba, we were an hour away from the border, and so we'd often go to the States and go to Walmart and pick up, yogurt, and there's so many fun other foods that you can get that we don't have here in Manitoba, or had in Manitoba. All right, you're ready. Ready to roll. Okay, so let's start assembling. Now, because this is bumpy, it would work best if you used tear and tape. If you don't have tear and tape, liquid glue works really good to make sure it's stuck. If you don't have liquid glue, snail will work. Just make sure you use quite a bit of it. That's all, because the corners tend to lift up a little. So I like this tear and tape. You just tear it off and away you go. Kind of like double-sided sticky tape. Yes, you go to the state slots. I love it there. Oh, so which city, town do you end up going to when you go to the States? Is there a better town to go to than another? Oh, okay, Montana. I suppose that's under you, yeah. Okay. Maybe one day we'll head down that way and take a trip to the US. I know with keto stuff, I think you see so many neat products that obviously the States have that we don't have. And it'd be neat to kind of pick up a load of fun food. All right, so once you get that bit on, then we're going to start with the largest crumb cake circle. And put that, we'll put that down first. Now there again, if you use lots of snail tape, just to make sure it sticks onto that basket weave. Otherwise, you can use liquid glue or tear and tape. Let's see, I'm covering it. Cover. And it goes about in the middle on the left with the dog hair under it for extra specialness. And then I have the little wood grain piece, so decide which side you like the best, because they are two different sides. Of course, this is retired now, this wood grain. I miss it. It was my go-to to go on to all my cards, but anyways. Now, if you could just tuck it underneath just a tad, that's what I did. Just slide it underneath, kind of on the angle. And then, of course, on top of the crumb cake is going to go this soft suede circle. You'll notice the fun stitching. Those are the stitched shapes framelits. Love them. Just that stitching adds a little something to it, doesn't it? It's not just a plain old circle. Let me know when you're all caught up. Oh, good. It's nice and quiet and calm. I like it. I don't have to read too much. I can go so nice and slow at my own pace. I don't have to whip through cards because I'm already half an hour late. This is nice. So after those 3 circles are down, we're going to get our It's Your Day one, that cream colored one, and I'm going to put dimensionals behind it. If you don't have dimensionals, don't worry about it. Just glue it down. That works too. And I just placed it kind of up near the top right hand side. Leave a little bit of room in between the wood grain circle and the It's Your Day, because we're going to be putting the little hook inside there, that little section. All right, we might as well do that since I just talked about it. So get out your snail or liquid or whatever you want to use, and let's glue that little hook down in between there. Can't see my little booger eraser. Oh, there it is. In my bucket. I call it a booger eraser, but it's really not a booger eraser. I think that'd be disgusting. But just if you get excess glue somewhere, you can use it to kind of get rid of that glue. Now they don't sell these anymore, of course, so you can get them in Michael's, that last time I saw, or you can use a white eraser, and that just kind of helps clean that stuff up. Next, let's go for the basket. We'll use some snail tape and your adhesive to glue that onto that soft suede circle across from that hook. Were you surprised at these colors? A little different, hey? Right frozen on that Facebook on my laptop. You need to buy the ink pads now. Yeah, well, Makes it easier for sure. All right, so now the little hat. So we're going to put a dimensional on the left side of the hat and snail tape or glue on the right side. Hopefully that makes sense. Because we're going to kind of mount up the hat onto the It's Your Day. So that's why I need a dimensional to kind of make it flat, and the other side is already mounted up because of this It's Your Day. Hopefully that makes sense. So are you just using black then? Versa Fine Inks. Oh, it takes forever to dry. Yeah, these ones are pretty quick unless the Real Red seems to take forever and I end up smudging it across my paper oftentimes. And same with Cherry Cobbler. But the rest are pretty good at drying quickly. Yeah. All right, the next step is by far the hardest on this this card. So you have your little piece of string, and I just want to kind of wind it around and around and around to make kind of a little loop. So I didn't try this before, but I think I'm going to try it. I'm going to put a little snail tape on my finger, attach that, and let's keep attaching every time I go around. See if it works. So far, so good. Whoop. You can also wind it around a couple fingers too. I'm sure that would work. It's just now kind of helped keep those pieces together. You could tie them. Might be tough. And I'm going to get out a glue dot and stick those ends where they're all kind of connected. Whoops. Kind of to the glue dot. And I'm going to put that glue dot make sure it's facing down, because I'm going to put those fish over top of it. Like so. Hardest part, I promise. Something smells very good. Oh, that's the roasted cauliflower and radish. Smells like something's cooking. I'm all tangled. If you want to work on that a little later, you're all good. I could just picture you in my head. I have no idea what you look like, but all wrapped up in your twine. Oh dear. Yeah, or you could wrap it around 2 fingers, I suppose. Put some glue on the one and just keep wrapping it over top. That might work as well. You need to come to my house for dinner. You are always welcome. Not sure it would always taste well, but you know. All right, after you're untangled and ready to attach those fish, that'll kind of hide a few of your things you don't want to show. So I'm going to do the middle fish first. I'm placing the red facing down, but up to you. So that's going to be my middle fish. It's okay if it goes onto the red part of your card. And then these will the other two will kind of go a little bit over top. So, well, you want to make sure you stay on your card. Let's see. Let's go a little more like this. Just make it how it looks good on yours. Like so. That'll help to hold down that thread as well. And we are all done with the front. I can't believe a newfie getting tangled in fishing line. I'm the only newfie that would. Oh, aw. It is a short little piece. Should have gave you a little extra to kind of wrap around your fingers and maybe tie. And then for the inside, you could either stamp the basket, the hat, or there is that hook stamp. You could stamp that. I think I want to do that. Stamp that little hook on the inside. So I'm going to get out my soft suede again. Stamp that on there for the inside of the card. While I have that all out, I think I'm going to stamp that hook all over that flap on the envelope. Just randomly. I think I'm going to stamp that little hat on the front in the blue. That's on the envelope. So a lot of people don't decorate their envelopes. So if you don't want to, that's totally up to you. They also don't decorate the inside of their card either. So if that's something that it's not really your thing, that's totally okay. And then I will go and glue that inside into our card. My card. You know what, before I do, well, it's too late now. I thought, oh, maybe we might be able to do it now. Add a little bit of brown to the outside edge here. Make it look a little more antique-ish. Once again, a little dirty. Well used. And then there we go. So I'll just wait till you let me know that you're all ready for the next card. Alrighty, good. So I'll put that one aside. And now for card 2. Here it is. So you're the best catch ever. And we're going to do kind of a neat technique here to make that background. So I'm not sure if you have a Stampin' Up! Mister. You can put water in them. If not, you can use an aqua painter, which looks like this. So it's kind of got a brush, and you put water inside here too. You can use that. If you don't have that, you could just get, say, a wet paper towel, I would say, and we can wet the paper that way. All right, you'll need a spare block. So, yeah, I'll use this one. Okay. Get all the splies out. should be a white piece of paper. That is going to go in the inside of the card, so I'm just going to put that aside with the envelope. And then there's the watercolor paper. So the watercolor paper, of course, is much thicker than just the plain white. I'll just leave that there. Alrighty. Set aside this. So we're going to use the watercolor paper first. There is a rough side and kind of a smooth side. I'm going to use the smoother side, and all I'm going to do is take my mister, or if you have a little spray bottle even with water, I don't know if you use for your hair or that kind of idea. If not, don't worry. And I'm just going to just spray some water on it to get it a little bit wet. And then I'm going to take my Balmy Blue, and onto the block, I'm just going to stick the whole block right into the ink pad. Seems bizarre, I know. And then basically I'm just going to swoosh it all around. I'll add a little extra down at the bottom, like so. And that's it. There's our watercolor. Ta-da! Now if it's a little too wet and there's drips all over, you know, you can take your Kleenex and edit those out. If you don't want some, if it's too thick in some areas and not thick enough in others, take your Kleenex, and actually when you use the Kleenex, it kind of makes a patterned look. And then I'm going to dry it with the heat tool. I suppose this will be my part that I'm tangled up in. So I'm going to dry this with my heat tool. That's where I've gone. Just for curiosity's sake, I'm going to see how it works without water, just in case, for future reference. Let's just stick that in there and, yeah, definitely not as free-flowing, that's for sure. I wonder if you could go over top of it now with, say, a paintbrush and water, and maybe smooth some of that out. I like the mister. Okay, I have to re-dry. I'm sorry. Okay. Let me know when you're done this kind of step, and then we'll go on to the next one. You're all ready. So we're going to take this wee little stamp that has the little bubbles on it, and with Balmy Blue, just kind of randomly stamp all over. And so, you know, stamp and then stamp again without re-inking. You just want to kind of add some, just some interest, I suppose, to your paper. Do as much or as little as you like. I'm going to keep that ink out because we are going to need it for our saying. Actually, they'll have to do that later. Sorry. Once that's all done, and you need to find this little piece of scrap paper and get your hook, and we are going to stamp in black. So I'm using Memento because I know I'm going to be coloring up on it with Stampin' Blends. That way it doesn't run. Or kind of smear, I suppose. So once we have the little hook, then we can color the hook in. So for colors that I'm using for the hook, if you have them, I have the Mossy Meadow combo, so the dark and the light version. I have Balmy Blue combo and the Cajun Craze. So along the main portion, I'm going to use the Mossy Meadow. I like using the bullet tip as opposed to the fine tip, and I'm just going in with the dark first on just half of that side. That way, that's kind of where the shadows are there. You can kind of see them. They've already kind of been dotted in for you, so you don't have to think too hard about where the shadows should go. And then I'm going back with my light version of Mossy Meadow and kind of going over top of both, which ends up kind of mixing both of those, making a gradiated look to it. And then on the stripes in that, where I had Mossy Meadow, I'm taking my Cajun Craze. I think I'm going to use the light one and just going over top. You see my Mossy Meadow kind of went outside the lines here a little. Hopefully you can see that. And then I'm going to take my dark Calypso Coral, no, Cajun Craze, pardon me, and I'm going to run just a line down that biggest leaf, and then I'm going to come in with the lighter color and just finish coloring that in. So that way it'll kind of have a little grade to it. Then this wee little one at the top I'm making with the orange, and the wee little one at the bottom. So I'll hold that up there so you can see which colors are what. Then basically whatever isn't colored is now going to be Balmy Blue. So I'm going to take the Balmy Blue, the darker version, and closest to the inside of the hook is going to be the dark version. And then the lightest one will go to the outside. let you know when you've got it all colored up. Whoopsie. Wrong button. I can hear Bud snoring. He's the little black chihuahua. So cute when Bud snores, but when Kevin snores, not so much. You keep losing me. Uh-oh. Hmm. Do you want me to sign out and come back in? Oh, is the wind bad? Yikes. As long as you color in the little hook. Do you care what color goes where? I really. Nobody's gonna see my card, right? Nobody will know what colors were supposed to go where. If you have the framelit, you can use the framelit to cut this guy out. If not, we are going to use our scissors. I'm just going to use my scissors. Just bubble cut. So I don't go right up to the item. I leave some white around it. It's easier that way. Or I should say very vanilla. Didn't use white on this one. It looked too gray. The white looked a little too gray next to that watercolor paper. The watercolor paper has kind of a little yellowness to it. So I thought, I like the very vanilla better. definitely more finicky to cut out than the basket. But it's doable. Once you have that all cut out, let me know, and I will go on to the next step. All right, so we're going to take this Cajun Craze color and just kind of lay it where you'd like it. So if you want it a little off-centered, whatever, go for it. So I just want it kind of in the middle. Then I'm going to take this little hook, and on the back I'm just going to add some snail tape up along the main part of the hook and attach this little fine copper twine. So just place it to the back and then glue it where you think you want it. Just keeping in mind where you're going to put your sentiment. So if you know, don't put it way down here because then it might be tough. Well, you could put it down here, but then you'd have to put your sentiment up at the top. Know what I mean? So maybe I'll do that for this one. We'll do it a little different. Okay, so just place it where you want it. Whoops, I suppose glue would help. A little extra glue. Like so. And then you can take off that piece that you kind of just laid there. Now you can try and, you know, twirl it or whatever. And kind of lay it down. And we'll just move that aside. And on the back of this frame, we're going to use dimensionals, if you have them, just to help pop up that frame to make it look a little more 3D looking. So I can't remember if I cut these or if I use the mini ones. I'm thinking it might be too small. Iffy. Boy, I think it just fits if you put them sideways. Oh, Breezer. If you don't have dimensionals, that's totally okay. Just use your tape, your adhesive, and just stick it right to the watercolor paper. But just keep in mind that you're putting it on something bumpy, so use lots and lots of tape. Lots of glue. Or some liquid, or you could even use that tear and tape. That would be a good option. And then you're just going to place it over top of where you want it. Hi, Beezer. Beezer, come. Come. Hi, honey. And then that little of a thread will be kind of mixed in the mix there. And then we will get our balmy blue, or whatever color you're going to use. And I'm using the You're the Best Catch Ever stamp with my balmy blue. Make sure it's really inked up well, because you're going to be stamping on kind of bumpy watercolor paper. So you want to make sure it has as much ink on it as you can get. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment up here because that's kind of where I left the room. You stamp it wherever you like it, wherever you think. Now just leave it on there for a little bit. Just let the ink soak into your watercolor paper. And if it doesn't all get covered evenly, I will show you a trick. This works good with the Stamparatus. So if it doesn't go on even, of course you can just place it down again. So it works really good on these bumpy kind of pieces. So now if I want to brighten that up a little bit, or make it a little darker, or if some spots didn't quite fill in, you take your blender pen. This thing is amazing for fix-ups, I tell you. And you just dip it in the ink and go over top of your letters. That you need to fill in or just make a little darker. Now it's best if you take your ink pad and just squeeze it. These new ones you really have to squeeze to get some ink on the lid there. But that's how you kind of fill in. It's a simple boo-boo fixer. If you don't have the Stamparatus, or yeah. let me know when you're all done that step. And then we'll go to assembling it. I'm just twisting my thread under the dimensional and around, oh, and around, make some extra little loop-de-loops. And I guess I have to hang on to the end, otherwise it snaps back where it wants to go. This would even make a nice little valentine for your husband or whoever. You're the best catch ever. And it's not all mushy and girly. I'm just going to run a little snail along the top there and stick that little copper piece before I end up losing it. So just to the back, stick it down, and that way you won't end up losing it. And I'm going to start decorating my envelope, because that's something you can always just go back and do whenever. I think I'm going to use the Balmy Blue with those little bubbles. I'm going to do that all over the flap. So that will be on my flap, all the little bubbles, and I think I'm going to stamp that hook on the front. I'm just going to use Memento Black. Ooh, that's a dark one. Yowzers. Make sure it's dry there. I think I'm going to stamp that same hook on the inside as well. Let's see, up and down. And then I'll stamp those little bubbles around it. How are you making out? This was kind of a different little technique. Using the water and the block with the ink. What he's making tonight other than this. Oh, it's probably the hand mixer in the soup. Hi, Breezer. I know, that's okay. No, honey. I think I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to attach this watercolor page to the Mossy Meadow card base. So once again, because it's bumpy, you want to use lots of snail or liquid glue or the tear and tape. Make sure to get all those corners all glued up really well so they aren't coming up and flapping away. Oh, Breezer. I know. You want out or what now? Kevin? Hi. You want Mama to sit with, don't you? Whoops. Let me try that again. So sticky, it didn't give me enough time to just let me put my paper on. There. So placing that on the card base. And then of course we're going to attach that inside piece. Like so. And there we have it. I wonder if you've lost me. I'll check. I turned off my laptop and just wondering if it was kind of playing with the internet, I suppose, using up some of the internet that maybe could have been going to this instead. So I'll turn it back on and just have a little look to make sure you're still there. Oh, Kevin, can you open the door? Well, he's crying. Please? No, I'm hooked up to my microphone, dear. Pardon? You're gonna have to open a little more. Is he gonna get through? Ah, he did. Good, good. Okay, now keep this out because when we get to our last card, we're gonna add a little bit of jewelry to the man card. See these little, I forget what they're called. They came with an old set, bottles, bubble over, I think. Anyways, so that will be kind of some fun there that we add on. Getting a little huffy. And then we're ready for our third card. Now this card uses altogether some more little different techniques here, so come on. But they're kind of fun. So this, I'm going to put the envelope, the white piece on that goes on the inside, put it aside. And I'm going to actually focus on this black piece right at the moment. So I'm going to take my scissors. Now it is kind of roughed up already because for some reason my black cardstock does not cut well. All the other cardstocks work really well, but that one does not. Now, if you're not here, I'm going to start again. You can't stay connected. Oh, okay. Darn. Okay, so I will keep going, and then if you need to watch the replay, that will work just fine. Okay, so you're going to take your scissors, the rough side, and you're actually just going to scrape it along the outside of your black piece of paper. And you're going to get little bits that fray. That's what you want. You want it to look kind of torn up and raggedy and rough. Okay? Just make it a little funky looking. So I'm doing all 4 sides. Okay, the more the better. If it tears, no worries, because that would make it look even more rough and rustic, right? So just get rid of the little loose bits. That might be. Okay, now you got a mess to clean up. Yowzers. Oh, now it's all stuck to this card. Okay. Let me throw that in the garbage. All right, so that stage is finished. We can glue that onto our Night of Navy card base. So let's get out the snail. And glue it on in the center. Like so. All right, so if I'm going too fast, make sure you press pause on your video and you can get caught up that way. I'm just going to keep rolling along here and talking. And so yes, feel free to pause all the way through just so you can keep up. All right. Okay. Next step, we need the Balmy Blue, and I'm going to use Night of Navy ink pad. Now this is a different technique that if you have done, what is it called? I did it a while back. It's a technique. Anyways, you do this, and it's kind of a fun effect. So Night of Navy, I'm going to take my ink pad and actually drag it across the top of my Balmy Blue page. Okay, so you want to start onto your grid paper or your scrap piece of paper. Don't start on, and you cannot stop. You got to just do one straight motion. Okay, if you stop in the midway, then you're going to get these weird lines, which you're not going to like. Also, if you try not to go crooked, you can, if you want that technique, but here we go. And of course, as always, there are two sides to every paper, so don't panic. Okay, here we go. See how I did that? Just click and drag across. Now, I love how this is darker on this side. I missed a piece here, so I'm going to actually go again, but I think I'm going to turn it this way. Now, don't put your fingers here, because of course that's where you're going to have to, and you'll end up stopping, right? You cannot stop. You just got to pull it all the way across straight. So I'm going to hang on to it over here, starting on the paper, and fill that in. Okay, done. Now, I wanted a little something on the bottom, so I'm going to take the Balmy Blue and do the exact same thing. So start on your paper, pull. Now, whoops, I should have done the other side of the ink pad. Anyways, okay, hold this side, don't be going over here, otherwise you're going to have to stop. Whoops. There's a wave in the water there. Actually, I kind of like this effect because that's probably the moon reflection, right? I like it. I'm good. Okay, next step is to take your little man who's fishing, and we're going to stamp him right in the center. So ink up your stamp. Make sure it's well inked and black, 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 because of course this is kind of like his silhouette. So you can't really see too many details because of that big moon in the sky. All right, and stamp him down right in the center. Like so. Good, good. Now, while we have the black ink out, we are going to use the stamp that says, "You're the best catch ever," but we're not going to use the catch ever part. We're just going to use "You're the best." And so the way you do that is to get a little sticky note. You can even use the one, card 3, whatever. Put it over top of catch ever, and then ink up your stamp as normal. Take this thing off, and voila, you have no ink where you don't want. So you're only going to get "You're the best." And I'm going to stamp that in the top left-hand corner. "You're the best." So that's one of the fun things that you can do with some of these words. If there's words that you're kind of like, I don't like, or you just like partial words or partial sections of the stamp, take the rest out. You can also use washi tape if you need to use to get into something a little more fine and detailed to mask it. Use some washi tape, ink up like normal, take it off, and away you go. You're ready to roll. Okay, next step is to glue on the reeds. So you have 4 of them. Be mindful of where he is, because you don't want to be, we're not going to use the entire reed. Move it down, okay? Move them a little lower than where you would, kind of think they would go. They're all going to overlap, so think about that. Make sure you get some snail or tape adhesive on the ends of those pieces of those cattails. All right, stick it down, and let's go to the next one. You can actually turn them around if you like, so they aren't all kind of symmetrical looking, all exact the same. And you can put it up a little higher, a little lower, totally up to you. I'm going to put this one a little bit lower. The next one I am going to turn around. Oh, I don't think I did. This one I'm going to put a little bit higher up. Like so. And then we have one more, which, let's see. Let me turn around well. Nah, I'll just keep going all the same direction. Since it's kind of up and down the layers that way, it's looks okay. Okay, I've got glue everywhere. So I'm going to take my little booger thing and just clean that up a little. Good, that looks much better. Now, of course, you got things hanging all over, so flip it over and you can see exactly where you need to trim off. There. Good. Throw that rest of the stuff in the garbage. All right, now we have our moon. So this little circle here, and I have a dauber that has some blue already on it, I see. So I'm just going to pull it across to one edge, that's all. Make it as dark or as, light as you want. And just the reflection, you can draw the little man in the moon, whatever you want to do. Okay, and let's add that to our little piece here. Now I want the kind of the we'll go like that. Okay. Next, we're going to use you can have a gel pen, you can use this white paint pen. Stampin' Up! Sells a chalk pen. Don't love it. To me, it's not dark enough, or it's the tip is a little too wonky for me, so that's why I ended up getting this one. This one is Craft Decor. It's actually meant to write on glass, but it works great for this kind of idea. Now, everywhere on his body where it is not colored in with the black is where you are going to color in with white. So at the top of his hat, there's a little white space, and on the brim of his hat, there's a little white space. His face, kind of along his collar, the neckline there. Along his arm with the fishing pole, there's 2 spots. Along his bag at the back, man, yikes. It's a lot of fishing gear to carry in the water. There is his little, I guess that's a pocket on the side. So there's 2 spots there. There's a spot kind of under his arm. There's a spot that runs down his right leg, and then his quad on his left leg, and his boot on the left side. And then we're going to just fill in those circles, trying to leave all those black lines there in between those black circles and the waves, ripples. Okay, so now I don't know if yours works like mine does, but I tend to have to go over it quite a few times. So I'm going to go back and start again. Hat, brim, face, neck, arm, 2 spots, his bag on his shoulder, back, his pocket, 2, and under his arm. Then I'm running down the right leg, the left quad, left boot, and then those rings. Oh, Breeja. Mama will be done in a minute, okay? You can see it's starting to get a little darker. A little brighter, I should say. It's white. I'm going to do it one last time, just for good measure, make it extra reflective. Just go over those same spots. There. Then on the cattails, I decided to put the reflection on each cattail. There again, you'll see how much that ink soaks into the black paper when you start doing this. So I'm just doing the one side, the left side of the cattails. And since it's not very bright, pardon me, I'm going to go over it again. Still not bright enough for, oh, you're back again. I'm going to watch and make the other 2 cards when my internet is better. But I'm now just enjoying watching me chit chat and color. Aw. So I'm just, yeah, I'm adding some highlights to these silly cattails. I think I'm good with that. So that was what, 3 times? All right. So now we can start putting all these items together here. So let's get snail tape on the back. Yeah, that bummer internet, hey? It's great when it works and it's not so nice when it doesn't. Now, get rid of all the black fuzz that we created before. And on the inside, I don't even think I put anything on here. I'm going to stamp this man faint, faint, faint in the background. So the way we can do that is to ink this up. As per usual. Because it's a big stamp, I like to have it laying down flat on the table and put the ink pad to it. It's just easier, and that way you know you've covered the whole dude. So I'm going to stamp off on my extra paper here, my good paper, and I think I'm going to stamp off one more time. Yes, and then right in the center, it's just going to be this faint dude fishing. You could still write over top of that, and it would be okay. Actually, before I put this guy away, I think I'm going to stamp him onto my envelope. Are you guys expected to get snow tonight? Hopefully you're far enough south that that's not an option for you. Okay, here we go. Stamping on the front. for the flap, I'll show you this technique. Thank you. That we kind of did earlier on the card. We'll do it now. But let's do it onto our flap. You don't have to, of course. This is just an idea. I haven't done this before on the envelope, so we'll see how this goes. I'm going to start, click, and drag all the way across. Now, from the other side, I think I'm going to use the Balmy Blue. So make sure you're using the ink pad on this side, not the side with the kind of hole in it. Okay. You have to go in one swipe. If you stop, you're in trouble. You make weird lines. So, start on your paper. That didn't show very well. There, got a little more. Okay, that's good enough. There will be the funky little flap. Okay, now that I've got spots everywhere because I obviously have ink on myself, to get rid of some of these smudges, I'm going to use my blender pen, the paintbrush side, and let's just give it some flicks of blue. There. Maybe I'll do that. Should I do that on the front? Well, since I got it on the card as well, card inside as well, might as well. Kind of looks like fun spray. Go a little here too. There, good enough. Let's take that off a little bit. Okay, and let's place this on the inside of our card. No snow yet, but freezing cold. Oop, that's the one we already made. Whoops, that was the example. Let's put it in this one. Oh, see, look at, I'm getting more blobs. My hands are obviously dirty. Here's my baby wipes. If you wanted to, we can do the pizza box together. Totally up to you. Now, since I got more little smudges there, I am going to get out that blue pen again. Maybe we'll use some Balmy Blue this time. And flick on some blue. There. And then it just becomes less noticeable. All right, there is our third card. Some fun new techniques there. And our last one, the pizza box. I am slowly getting a messy desk. Don't think I need these. Let's move this over. Okay. Does this Stampin' Up! Ink dry fast? Yes. Except for, I shouldn't say that, except for Real Red, Cherry Cobbler, they tend to need a minute. Because otherwise you tend to, rub your hand across it and it will smear. But the other ones I don't notice. They dry quick enough for me, that's for sure. So here's our little pizza box. Isn't that adorable? And these are actually food grade on the inside, so you can put food in there if you want to put a cookie, or I think I'm going to put fishing tackle, like a little doodad in there for my dad, because he likes to do fishing. And it's kind of all wrapped up, ready to roll, right? So that's kind of a card and a gift packaging all in one. Okay, so let's start with our pizza box. So basically everywhere that there is a kind of a bump, we're going to fold. And of course we're folding to the inside. So we can press all those things. Now this little piece is going to stay there for now. This one, when you press it down, two little flaps open. And press down. Lots of people make 3x3 cards that fit in here, and they make kind of like a gift package, I suppose. So, you know, decorating the outside with, say, Daisy, the Daisy stamp, and making a whole bunch of little Daisy cards for the inside for somebody. Do you get the box from Stampin' Up? Yes, I have the pieces. You don't have the box? What do you mean you don't have the box? Really? In your envelope? Not in your envelope? I will send you one. Shoot. I'm sorry. That's no good. Perfect for keto cookies. That is correct. Yes. No, I will get you one. That's not good. Okay, so you can kind of tell how she's going to fit together. So you put your little flaps up, and then these two little latches are going to squeeze into, there are two holes underneath. There, they just pop in there. What's happening here? Okay. There. And this one just ends up tucking and closing. Like so. Oh, sheesh, and I'm getting blue all over this too. Nope, no box. Really? Weird. Okay, I will get you a box for sure. Sorry about that. That's not good. Next, let's put on our soft suede square on our little bucket here. So this is 3x3, it just fits perfectly. I will throw that in the mail tonight. Oh, that's horrible. Okay, then we have our little piece. I ran it through the Big Shot with kind of a wave shape. Now this is no longer, so it's kind of exciting that we get to use it still. So I'm going to use this little bubble set here with the Balmy Blue and just randomly stamp all over. There, enough bubbles. No, if you would have felt it in the envelope because it was the only like very thick and long bit to the envelope. So, hey, I make mistakes all the time. Okay, then there's the Whisper White, and we are going to stamp the fish in Memento. So there again, this fish is pretty big. So I'm going to go with the ink this way to make sure it's all inked up really well. And this is our scrap white, and you can tell that because it's got a little notch out of it. So it doesn't matter where you stamp on it because it's not going to matter. It's getting cut out. There. Now for some coloring. I'm going to do the Smoky Slate first. I'm using the Stampin' Blend, so find yourself a little bit of a gray color. And kind of where the shadows are already, that's going to be where I place the darker color. So I'm just putting a little bit of color down. And then it goes a little bit in here. Okay. And I'll back with the light color and color in, going over top of that darker color and then kind of bringing it up. That didn't sound appropriate. Bringing it up. Oh, memories of yesterday. Did you get the keto flu? Oy, oy, oy. I was not doing well yesterday at lunch. Okay, and then I'm going to go into here a little. Ooh, there again, he's got some shadow bits, but that'll be all right. Okay. I think, yes, I did go down his couple of these fins towards the bottom with the gray as well. Next, I put some gray on his fin, I see. The top fin. Well, I guess I did all the fins, the stick out fins in the Smoky Slate. I think I got that all. And then my Balmy Blue, which I've over here. What do I clean the stamps with? My Simply Chamois. It doesn't look like this when you get it. It's purple. And it's basically just a kind of matte thing. You run it under the water. And the ink will drain off the excess ink kind of thing, and you keep it kind of, you wring it out a little bit so that it's damp, and then basically you just rub your stamp on, and that's how I clean it. I prefer it to the Stampin' Scrub. I used the scrub for a lot of years. The only thing I found was that when you're stamping a lot, it gets dirty really fast, and you have to take them out of their case, which is a pain, and then you have to kind of really scrub them and get soap on there and whatnot. Some people stick them in their dishwasher. I don't know. So this is much quicker. I find anything quicker and easier, I'm in. I'm a lazy type, so yeah. That's what I use, the Simply Chamois, and it's not very expensive. And if you want, I have extra cases, so you can buy these stamp cases that are just clear. You can buy this size, the normal CD kind of size, or you can get a thicker one, the wood mount case size. A lot of people put their paper cut up in it or whatever, but yeah, if you get a Simply Chamois, I will send you a holder for you. The next color I'm going to use is Crumb Cake, and I'm going to run the, I don't want the paintbrush side, I like the bullet side best, so I'm going to run the darker side where the shadows are now to kind of go around those little dots. See how well I can do it this time of night. My eyes are tired. Oh, I forgot this fin. It's supposed to be in gray. Okay, then I'm going to come back with the lighter version of the Crumb Cake. Oh, I see it went over his eye by accident. And kind of blend those two together. And it just gives it a nice, oh, I should have went brown over there too. Kind of a nice effect, of course, because it just kind of goes from dark to light. I guess I'm going to need one. People use baby wipes. I mean, I've used baby wipes at classes for a long time. This is just, you know, easier, I suppose. Less waste, which I was kind of going for. And it also doesn't leave, sometimes baby wipes leave a kind of fuzzy on your stamps, which you don't want. All right, let's get this in the brown. And over here in the brown. And kind of take that color out a little bit. And that fin needs to be the gray color. But what I'm going to do on top of that fin is to put Balmy Blue. So I'm going to kind of pull some blue into this gray, which makes it look kind of fun. I think I must have used the darker one. Oops. That's just on the fins, kind of closer towards the body. I just added in that blue color, just as a little bit of an effect. In the mouth, I did the Balmy Blue, and kind of on the side here, I did a little bit. And I'll just blend that in a little better. Okay. I think he's good. Now, the fun part. If you have the framelets, I don't know if you've noticed this before, but it actually cuts out the fins and makes them pop up. Grab that big shot here. Oh, here's the other plates. So, some items you take out some of the plates, of course, because they are too thick. So I must have been doing something, probably an embossing folder. Okay, lay my little fishy on there and put this over top. Line it up as best you can. Now I know Lisa Harden always uses sticky notes. I tend to be lazy and just go for it. And then I get mad when it's not, oh sheesh, when it's not, what's happening? There we go. When it's a little off, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, I'll put this away. I've gone to the floor where I have some room. Now here's the cool part. Look at these fins. They actually pop up. Isn't that adorable? Like, how cool is that? Now, I didn't like this little bit in here that was left, so cut it out. I don't know why they wouldn't have decided to just take that piece out too. But anyways, whatever. I'm not Stampin' Up. Okay, our little fishy is done. Here's our blue piece that we're going to start adding things to. So here are 2 pieces of the reeds, cattails, whatever they're called. So I'm going to glue the darker one down first. Try to get glue on all the little pieces so they stay down. Like so. And then I'm going to take the crumb cake piece and put it over top, like about there. Okay, and once again I see lots of glue, so getting rid of that where it sticks to something I don't want it to stick to. Good. Now I gave you 2 little pieces because I know they're tiny. And if they, both sides don't work, then what, right? So I'm going to use my Memento Black. I used the For You. I don't know, where's that? My box. This one. For You Dad. Now I don't need 2 For You Dads. So I'm actually going to mask off the dad on this piece. So once again, I'm just going to use my little sticky note that was on the card bit. Mask that off the dad piece and the little comma if I can. Yep, I think it'll go. And then ink it up as per usual. Take this sticky note off and let's go for it here. We're going to have for you. Yeah, looks good. So that's going to be all ready to roll. But first, let's wrap our twine here. This is just linen thread. I like it. It makes things a little bit woodsy and natural feeling. So I did tie a knot on the front, so I'm just going to leave a little bit hang on with my thumb, and then just, or not, and then wrap it around. Actually, okay, this will make it easier. If we put a little snail down both sides, it'll help hold it when we flip around the corner. How many can we get? I think that's enough. Okay, and I will tie a little knot here. Come on. Like so. And there's my twine. And of course you can, arrange this however you want it to be. If you want it, spread out or tight. Just make it how you think you like it the best. I think I like it a little bit spread out. Okay, and then let's glue this to our pizza box layer. Make sure you get tape on top of that twine. Hi, Bob. Hi. Hello. Oh, you know what? I actually popped it up with dimensionals. Pardon me. I'm just going to glue it down. If you want to. I caught this before. Go for it. Go for dimensionals. Give it a whirl. Okay. And then I used my For You. So I just put snail on there. I could pop up. Maybe I'll pop this up For You. Where are my dimensionals? Over here. Was at a band concert. Have to catch replay. No worries, Donna. I will send you the video, or I'll send you the YouTube link, and then you can have it forever and ever. Amen. We're just on the last one on the pizza box. Can you check to make sure I gave you a pizza box, Donna? Barbara didn't get one. Just to make sure I wasn't absent-minded twice. Okay, now where did I put my fish? Oh, right here. Sheesh. I'm going to pop him up with dimensionals as well. And I'm going to put a little piece just on the other side of his fin. I think that's good. Are you laughing at me, Barbara, or with me? All right, and Mr. Fishy, this reminds me of the big fish in Kenora. Ever see that? That's where we go camping near there every year with the family. And there we have it. There's our little pizza box. However, you will notice that inside your pack you have these little I call them little raindrops. But I'm going to use the take your pick tool. If you don't have one of these, you need to get one of these. And I don't know if you can see, but I put them all over. Kind of look like he's splashing. Save some for your other cards if you want. I gave you some extras, so I don't know, just put them random. One over there, one here, big ones, little ones, one there. Then there's the kind of the teardrop shapes. Oh, sheesh. I have too much. Well, there we go. Too much goo on my take your pick tool. What do I think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that looks good. So I'm going to go back now to this card, and I'm going to add a few of those bubbles on there. There. Okay. And what was the other card? This one didn't have any water, so let's not put that on here. What was the first one again? Oh, this one. Yeah. Nah, use them up on all the water cards. So let's add a few more. Oh, I shouldn't have put that there. It's right. Anyways, whatever. Okay. I think I'm good. There we have it. Our 3 cards and a pizza box. So feel free to, yes, go back and watch the replay. Press pause when you need to, so we can keep up or speed up, whichever you prefer. So I know, Barbara, you'll catch, you get to speed through the first little section there. And hopefully your internet cooperates a little better. But there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you maybe learned a new technique or two, tried some new things, which is always kind of a fun idea. And I hope whoever receives these cards, well, I know they'll bring a huge smile to their face. So, yeah, so either for Father's Day or for just birthday, or like I said, you're the best catch ever. It could absolutely be a Valentine's card that's not mushy and red. So thank you for stopping by and joining me tonight. It was great to chat with you when you were able, and I will look forward to seeing you at the next online class, which is going to be much more girly. Have a good night.